That's right, guys. You have to quit spending 45 grand for plastic garbage. We're going to take a look at this really sweet Lexus and why this is the better buy. Let's get started. I know, guys, I'm starting to sound like Scotty Kilmer, but maybe there's a good reason for that. I can't really watch his videos. It's kind of the way he does things is kind of strange, but the guy's not a dummy. He's been around a long time. He's been around the block several times with cars, so a lot of things he says actually are very true. And obviously I've pushed Toyota products pretty hard on this channel, and here's another one. But recently I was just looking online. I said, if I was in the market just pretending to buy a 2022 vehicle, a brand new vehicle, I was disgusted. Little bitty 4-cylinder cars, 38 grand. Okay, I want to step up to a Camry or something a little bigger. Now we're getting into the 40 grand range. And you look at the GMCs, the Buicks, all the different brands, it doesn't matter anymore. I mean, Toyota is still the best of all of them, but really all the manufacturers are cheapening out so much right now. Plastic intakes, plastic timing chain components, plastic sensors, plastic valve covers. They are not meant to last. Oh, and direct injection, which is really stupid because it clogs up the intake so bad that you have to pull it apart and clean it. All the newer cars are designed about 50 to 100,000 mile range, usually outside of warranty. You're going to start lighting money on fire. And your warranty is expired, but your bank loan didn't. You're still paying on it. And now you're going to pay even more to keep the thing on the road. That's what I forecast or foresee with these 2021, 2022 cars. They look really good on the lot. And actually, me and Mrs. Wizard rented a 2022 Chevy Malibu while we were on vacation last week. We went all over the place on the East Coast. Had a lot of fun. I thought it rode good. It's a decent car. You know, there's really not much you could knock about it, but I knew in the back of my mind, I knew, give this car another 50,000, 60,000 miles, and there will be no more smiles with this car. It'll be frowns and cursing and anger because it was so cheap. And we all know we're in this chip shortage. There's car lots all across America that are empty because there's no chips to finish the cars to get them to the lots to sell them. And we experienced this in this 2022 Chevy Malibu. My back was giving me some trouble. I decided I want to turn on the heated seats. Even though it's hot as Hades outside, I want to turn on the heated seats for my back. I clicked the button and nothing illuminated, it's just black. So Mrs. Wizard tried hers. She was driving. Nothing. We were sitting there like, this is a brand new car, why don't they work? So I researched it real quick. I did a Google search just like you guys would. Oh, on the 2022 Chevy Malibus, there's a chip shortage for the heated seats. So we did install the heated seats. The buttons are there, but it won't turn on. Tough. Maybe someday we'll get the chips in, you'll get your car back, we'll install the modules or whatever it needs to make it run. But until that time, the button is black. A brand new car that you just spent 35 grand on and got a loan for. It's all plasticky and stuff's missing, it's not even working. And it just reiterated when this car came into the shop. This is what we should be putting our money back into. Because car makers are not going to go back to this. This car is a 1995 Lexus LS400. We all know that they're rock solid in their reliability. These are some of the best cars on earth that you can buy. Besides the Buick LeSabres or the Park Avenues with the 3800 V6s, you cannot buy a better engine for the money. You can't. But Daniel's son just sold a Toyota Camry he had, and it really wasn't that nice of a car. And he got $4 grand for it. I totally would have thought that was a $2,000 car. But because the price of gas, these little cars that are economical are going up through the roof. But before we dive into that, I've got some things I want to show you guys. It's pretty crazy. Here's a familiar face of a Lexus LS400. You guys have all seen one of these before. They look really good. It's kind of an imitation Mercedes. But I'm fine with that because it was executed very well and it looks very classy to me. This thing is not a cream puff. It is far from it. It is a daily driver. And that is proven by the fact that it has 302,000 miles on it. Yes, there's rust, bubbles, there's things on here that are kind of not the prettiest to look at. And with that many miles, yet the paint is still presentable, it's shiny. It looks like a fairly recent car. They really built these things very, very well. It does have some scrapes down here on the corner. Maybe they backed into something, a concrete pylon or something. But again, it's a daily driver. It's not expected to be perfect, especially with that many miles on it. It's got decent tires on it, some good years. They look pretty good. No dents or damage or anything on this side. It does have the rust bubbles there like we saw on the other side. But otherwise, it's still a very presentable car and a very nice looking car. Let's go ahead and open up the hood. And with 300,000 miles on this car, the hood struts are still holding up the hood. Look at that, guys. Metal. There is some plastic on here to cover up things just for looks, basically, like these covers here and there. But the functional parts of the engine are not plastic. These do have a timing belt that has to be serviced on these, but it's really not that big of a deal. You can see that I can't really read it very well, but it was recently done in 2017. So it's been a few years, but it's still going strong. One of the things it was here for is a check engine light for this airflow sensor. The customer was able to get a hold of a few used ones and they want us to put a used one on it. So we got a used one and put it on and it fixed it. It actually worked. On the old airflow sensor, it was saying it was 140 degrees outside when it was not. That was really messing things up. But this one works great. You can see everything's clean around there. We did the valve cover gaskets. It was leaking oil onto the exhaust and making a smell. So those have been done. And all the belts look fairly new, and that makes sense. It was a timing belt job done not too long ago. They probably replaced those belts as well. Everything's easy to work on these. It is not hard. But we'll talk about parts here in a minute. Parts are becoming a problem on these 90s cars. Let's let Mrs. Wizard give you guys a tour of the interior.
Okay, ladies and gents, got this in accessory mode so we can see everything lit up down there, and look at that, 302,000 miles. That is crazy impressive. But everything is looking good. All the lights are showing on up there. Everything is looking really good. If we look up there at that dash, everything's great. There's no cracks. It is a very hard vinyl, so it actually withstands a lot of pain, endurance, and apparently 140 degree weather outside, which I'm not so sure. It's not 85 degrees outside either. It's more like the feel like temperature today is like 105 here in Kansas. So that part's not working so good. And the clock, well, this clock's a little off as well, but that may have been because things were disconnected while we were working on it at the shop. But again, everything looks good. Super simple buttons. Not 12 things to, click through. Radio stations, simple controls to adjust our equalizer down there. Being that this is the 90s, that's about all we have. And of course we have a lovely tape deck. Has heated seats, which probably actually do. Oh, look, they actually both work, unlike the rental we had in Florida and Georgia. We have as it slowly opens, a nice little cigarette lighter or change holder, which still holds and catches. As we move over, we can see it's got a few items of the customers there. Water bottle, which of course you probably need now that it's summer. As we can see, there's the old part that we replaced since the customer provided the part. But the leather's looking good. You can see a little age on it, but with 300,000 miles on it, how many times have we sat in that seat? And leather on the door. Door cards are looking fabulous. A little bit of wood accent there as well. And I'm going to open the door and turn off my light because you do need to see this lovely thing they have added. You're going to hear the banging. They have added green accent lights. A little hard to see on camera right now, but there's green accent lights on the passenger side and down there. There's my toes on this side as well. And I've been told that after a little bit they also flicker. Okay, now that we've got everything back together again, well, here's the back seat. Got the light going so we can see leather seats back there. Looking great, looking fabulous. Nothing ripped, torn, looks great. Headliner, no sagging going on up there, no Cheeto fingers, no chocolate marks. And we've got a lovely, simple sunroof so we can open up and see the lovely ceiling to our shop. As we look here, this is a nice feature. I've seen this on a few other cars, and I don't think it doesn't stay up any longer, but it doesn't really matter if it's down or not. But this is a fabulous, being a tall person, and the visors never seem to be long enough. So this is a godsend. So nice feature. Thanks for doing that there, Lexus. Otherwise, looking good in here. So if it's this good with 300,000 miles on the interior, no rips, no tears, nothing going on, nothing sagging or anything, what's this look like on the underneath? Let's get this up in the air.
So let's keep in mind as we look under here, the customer's not interested in putting $5 grand into their car, and I'm totally down with that. It's got 300,000 miles on it. Let's go ahead and take a look underneath and see if we're surprised or not. So some of the belly pan plastics here are missing. We can see a little bit of an oil leak going on up there. That was probably some from the valve covers. Some of that's probably the oil pan gasket there. Check these wheels. Pads are good. Nothing loose there. The strut is not leaking. Sway bar link is good. There's some more of this seepage. I think it's just blowing from, you can see the drip right there. Probably the oil pan gasket. Pads are good there. Strut is dry. Sway bar link is good. Our boots are dry inside. Looks like somebody's put a new rack in here. You can see that this is a brand new steering rack, which doesn't surprise me with the amount of miles on it, but luckily it doesn't look like very hard to get to. So brand new steering rack. I don't know if I approve of the zip ties, but it works. It has been working. We'll move on back. Again, I think this is oil blowing from the front. Very likely the valve cover gasket. So it's so hot today, guys, our GoPro that we normally use underneath the car just died on us. So here we are with our other camera, so sorry about that. Here's our catalytic converter, still intact, which is good. Our flex discs look old. They have a little bit of dry cracks on them, but nothing serious. Go to this side. Pads are good. CV boots are good. Struts have been replaced, they're dry. Sway bar link is good. The exhaust is not rusted out, it's all intact. Our differential's nice and dry. CV boots again are good. Struts are dry. Pads are good. Nothing loose there. Here's our spare tire area. There's a little bit of rust going on around the exhaust, but nothing serious. And really, for 300,000 miles, that's not bad at all. I have worked on so many cars with half the amount of miles on it that are just a catastrophe underneath. This one is not. So we'll get it back on the ground. Really nothing very serious for the age and the miles of the car. Usually I would be really surprised. I looked at Bring a Trailer quite a bit, and I was scanning through different common cars, and I'm seeing the prices you guys are paying for these, and normally I would be laughing. It would be a very laughable moment. Here's a 96 LS400, very similar to this model with 70,000 miles, $24,000. Here's an early Toyota Corolla from the 90s, $17,000. Here's a 92 Honda Accord with very low miles, $21,000. And the last one I have here is a 90s Mitsubishi Eclipse, although it is I think it's a TSI, $20,800 and some dollars. These cars did not cost that much when they were brand new. They were probably half that, maybe a little bit more than half, but and normally you say, this is insane, this is stupid, but it's not, because the cars we're getting now that are brand new are garbage. So us as Americans are looking back to cars that we know are not garbage, piles of crap made out of plastic. Cars that last 300, 400, 500,000 miles because we're tired of the garbage, tired of the games. So the idea that you're spending so much money on these older cars, I get it. I know why now. I totally get it. It makes sense. These cars are getting harder to find parts for. I just went to my local parts store looking for different parts on these, and several 90s cars that have been in here, and they're always special order. Do we have them in stock? No, not here, not here, not here. We can get them though. They're special order. It's 6 days or 5 days. That's becoming the norm on these older cars. But still, even at that, it's better than paying 40 grand for a car that this one will probably outlast. Isn't that sad, guys? So in 2022, if you're looking for reliability in a car, you should really buy...
Right, Blizzard, come on.
No, don't buy one of these, sorry. Okay, let's try this again. If you're looking for reliability...
Wrong.
Oh, sorry, wrong car. And if you're looking for reliability in 2022, you can always... Wait a minute. No, don't buy this one. Sorry. I keep getting the wrong car, guys. Okay, now we're finally at the correct car. If you're looking for reliability in 2022, these cars, the Lexus LS400, the Buick LeSabres, the Park Avenues, the Honda Accords, the Honda Civics, the Corollas, the Sentras, those are the cars to spend your money on. And it's really sad because you're thinking, I'm a young guy or girl or whoever you identify as. I've got a new family, I have children, and I'd like a reliable newer car. But that sentence doesn't exist, a reliable newer car. We're having to go back to this stuff. So this would definitely be, for 10 grand, in fact, one of the cars you could choose. I just saw one on Bring a Trailer that has 150,000 miles for 10 grand, knowing that you got at least another 150,000 miles to go, because this one's at 300. I don't know. It just depends on where you're at with money, I guess, but it's definitely something to think about, guys. So if you're curious what kind of tools we use in this shop, check my Amazon affiliates link in the description below. We get a small cut and we really appreciate it. And make sure to hit the subscribe button because there is tons more videos in this shop. Thanks for watching.